Second part of the homework was to have another heading on the page and target it using something other than just its element name. So even though it's kind of silly to have two H1s right in a row, that's what we'll do. So a second H1, but we need a way to target it. So I can give it an ID or a class, whatever we want. If I give it an ID, then I could target that one by saying hash special. Refresh. There we go. Or if I wanted to use a class, instead of hash, that would be dot. So dot fancy. And what if I had some paragraphs too? What if I had a paragraph that was also very fancy? And I wanted to make sure it changed the paragraph and not the H1. They have the same class though. How could I change this? How could I change that selector? P dot fancy, right? So it's not just looking for any old class, any old element with a class of fancy, but specifically a paragraph with a class of fancy. No space between the two. That means something very different. But smashing them right together like that looks for a paragraph with the class of fancy. Refresh. And it changes this instead of the heading. Right? Cool. So that is the second part of the homework. No problem. I want to make a checkpoint in my project's history for this. So I will first add it. Git add dot. Then I'll commit to give my checkpoint a label here. And what did I just do? Update a fancy paragraph. Now, it's a permanent part of my project history. There's a checkpoint there. I've got a nice readable label on that checkpoint, but it still just lives on my laptop. So in the event that my laptop explodes, it'll all be lost. So I better push it up to GitHub. Cool.